I like Portillo's. It's good.
It's actually a bit funny too because we've been to Portillo's because we're like, oh yeah, we always talk about Portillo's at this convention, but I actually have one that's probably within 40 minutes of my house.
Oh wow.
And yet I only ever go to this one. Like I gotta go to Chicago to get some Portillo's.
Yeah. So.
It's only worth it if you go to the Chicago.
Yeah.
That cake milkshake though, is that to me is like a testament to our arrogance as a species. Like us shaking our fist at God. You know?
Old man elephant cloud.
Right, we're gonna take a chocolate slice of cake and throw it in the milkshake, and then we're going to go to the moon. I don't know.
The front to
Humanity found a way.
Right, we always do.
Like forget Jurassic Park, guys.
Right.
We got a chocolate cake shake.
It's just the shake.
Yeah.
You got so many things. You never stop to think of what you should.
Mm-hmm. But you're busy pushing the envelope.
There are plenty of local places.
Rip,
There's also
triple,
plenty
make
of,
sure it's got budget brownie.
unique places as well.
Yeah.
There's a Korean chicken place down the way.
What's it called?
Bonchon.
Bonchon?
Yes. That opened up within the last couple of years.
What kind of? So it's Korean.
Korean chicken.
Okay.
And it's next to the Qdoba.
Wait, Reyes, do you like Asian food, really?
I like very Americanized Asian.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm like Panda Express.
I'm not Asian food.
Yeah.
But
I
But because this area has a lot of, because of the big Asian population, you get a lot of
No, that's
Asian cuisine.
That's cool.
Around
It's good culture.
in a lot of places. We're kind of spoiled that way.
I'm lucky. I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I got no food. That's one of my reasons why I'm just
That
like.
essentially was what Silverquill was telling us the other day.
He was talking about me?
Oh, no.
That's Saber's guy.
Apparently Denver's very similar in that regard.
Denver, but Denver's like big. That's surprising.
Yeah. So we're saying like, what we got? An omelet.
Right.
Oh, I mean, I guess he means like culturally.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Denver's got?
Oh, see, I didn't think about that. I didn't think it would be the speakers that were on. I didn't touch any buttons. I swear I did. No, this is my food post.
Let's talk about this.
Who's done a food post?
Are you all familiar with SPP as far as like?
Yeah, actually, let's find out who are new people for SPP. Semi-Perfect Podcast. It's like, what the heck is that?
Don't feel
right?
shy if you're new to it.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well,
All right, get out.
First off, thank you so much for being
There we go.
All right, thank you, AV.
This feels like it's a bit much.
All right. So the Semi-Perfect Podcast is a podcast that we've been running. We just recently hit our 200th episode.
Wow.
It's a every other week podcast. Currently on a brief hiatus right now. I
wonder why.
Yeah, as we're all busy and gone and taking care of things. But yeah, we right. It's been a little busy, so we're taking a little bit of a break. But yeah, 200 episodes worth of the Semi-Perfect Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And what it started off as Saber and I saying, hey, you know what, let's kick off a podcast again.
Yeah.
And get a lot of our friends involved.
Let's just thank the person.
Let's
right now.
thank you, Sarah, for making this a possibility.
That's his wife.
Yeah, so Sarah's the one who does it, and this is obligatory. I have to do it. Sarah.
She is the glue of the podcast.
Yes.
Like we definitely like kind of get to rest on our laurels, where she's like, okay, you know, I'll take care of everything else: uploading, editing, arranging, scheduling, mother hen. She's great.
Yes.
Sarah's amazing. She is top tier in how much she helps.
Yeah.
She's the reason he's here.
Exactly.
She's the my
she's
mother
the
had
reason
more
why
to do with that than she did, but yes, no, Sarah, what he means, Sarah's the one who got me into My Little Pony.
Oh.
So yes, I wouldn't have been here without her.
What's the timeline?
So one thing we do to kick off, we love interacting. I know I'm fixing it. One thing that we do at the beginning of each podcast, because we love interacting with the audience, is getting people involved with food posts, because we're typically running the podcast right around the time where everyone has eaten dinner or should have eaten dinner. In my case,
We also just love food.
and we love food.
We love it. It's a fun conversation, though.
This is my food post right here.
What do you got there, Race?
It is a banana nut muffin.
Banana nut muffin. Ooh. You ever see how many calories are in muffins and they make your heart stop? Like no, I mean
The more the merrier.
I'm sorry. But
No. I like food.
Like I saw like blueberry muffins at like a grocery store, and it's like 550 calories per muffin. I'm like, good God Almighty, this thing's gonna destroy me.
It's
I need more butter.
Well, no, I mean, you want to. How many people look at calories and instead of go like, oh no, they go like, getting my money's worth.
No.
Right?
That's okay. It's fair. But for me, I go to a restaurant. I'm like, why do you have to post the calories? And now I don't want to eat this stuff. I feel bad. I mean, let me live my ignorance. Thank you. What do you mean? There's 1,000 calories in a Portillo milkshake?
Impossible. I know. Do you ever have that though, where you eat something like that seems really dense, and you go, well, this must have a lot of calories, but then you have like a milkshake, and you're like, it's liquid.
It's liquid.
How bad could it be?
Boy.
So I'm curious. I see we have some.
Yeah.
What's your food post?
What you got?
With us anime guy is a Taco Bell breakfast crunch wrap.
Okay.
Round of applause. Round of applause.
The bacon. Okay. Have you had it before?
Yes.
The Taco Bell breakfast have any folks?
I still haven't had it.
The Taco Bell breakfast? I've been told it's just Taco Bell with eggs, though. That's all it is.
I feel like getting breakfast though at a fast food place that doesn't serve it 24 hours, like that's an accomplishment. Like I was there on time. I'm never up early enough to do that, except on a work day, and I don't give myself enough time to do that.
Oh, here's any people from the southeast here, or who like been to the southeast? No, just okay.
Me.
Okay. Chicago folks here. Waffle House. Y'all familiar with Waffle House?
Not further south.
Nothing. No, I kid you not. And you might have heard this, but they use Waffle Houses for.
Waffle House.
That's the one. It's for the what's the organization? The one FEMA. Yes, they'll use it to be like, okay, how many Waffle Houses are closing down in the face of a natural disaster? And if a Waffle House is closing down, it's like, okay, this hurricane actually might destroy the state. Like, get out. Get out of here, right? No, but Waffle House. I mean, have you all been to Waffle House before?
Oh, yes.
No. Okay, for the folks who've been, what do y'all think about it?
That's waffles.
So
Really?
So literally, the consensus has always been the dirtier the restaurant looks, the better the food.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right. And the thing is, all the servers there look like they can probably take in a fight easily.
Oh, yeah.
The joke has always been, you see the cook outside, like, taking a drag of a cigarette. Literally just throws it on the ground as he sees you walking in and is like, all right, let's go.
So I was in Atlanta last weekend for a convention, and I got in the elevator with some folks. And I love Atlanta people. They always speak their mind. I love it. And there was a guy who was like an attendee who's like out of state, and he like got Waffle House to go, and it's like 2 p.m. And he like walked out the elevator, and the Atlanta guy is like, "Who gets Waffle House to go at 2 p.m.? What's wrong with you?" And then he just gets off at the next elevator stop. I'm like, he's right though. Who gets Waffle House at 2 p.m.?
It has to be 2 a.m.
Right, 2 a.m. Yes, it's fine. 2 p.m. Oh my God.
I was with that like, oh yeah, who does that? And then when I did it, that's like 2 days later on Sunday.
Disgusting.
Oh, it was delicious.
How was it? It was good actually.
It was delicious. No, that same Atlanta trip. No, actually it was last year. We were at the Waffle House. I think it was late at night.
We were like 2 a.m.
Yeah, and there was a
Oh, that's
police
right.
officer, but he was cleaning the tables, and we're like, what's happening in Waffle House right now?
You know you're in a fun Waffle House if there's like a police officer just working there.
Right.
And I kid you not, he was bussing tables.
Yeah.
He was wiping down the tables, and I'm like, to protect him to swipe, I guess.
Right. Like it was bizarre. But yeah, thank you for the food post.
Yeah.
I say that, I'm like, thank you for the food post myself. And my guy was hooking us up. But yeah, so again, for those of you that are unfamiliar with the podcast, we'd love to have you out. We have a Twitter where you can see, like we said, since we're on a hiatus, that'll be where to check in. I think it's Semi-Perfect Pod at Semi-Perfect Pod. And yeah, I'm like double checking. And we also have a YouTube page. That's where we host all of the podcasts. So if you look it up on YouTube, Semi Perfect Podcast, and you'll find it, as well as all of our episodes that are uploaded there. So again, it's been going on for a long time. Sometimes I'm amazed when I watch past con vlogs and hear us talking about starting it. I think it was like 2015.
It was. It was when I was out visiting California. I'm like, let's start a podcast.
Yeah.
And then let's make Sarah do it all.
Let's make Sarah do it all. So what we enjoy doing on these podcasts is, again, just going over all sorts of topics.
Yeah.
Like anything's on the table. And obviously, since we're here at a panel, those topics are going to be entirely driven by all of you.
We're here to help too. No pressure. We're here to instigate. You know, we want to get into a fight before this panel.
Yes, we do.
Right?
Yes, we do.
I'm already squaring. You're not going to eat the rest of that. I am. All right. I'm going to fight you, and I'm going to win.
So, do we have a starter question? Someone want to be the first person to ask a question here? All right.
Okay.
I saw your hand first, and then we'll get to you.
I don't think it's going to cause a fight. Well, maybe it will. But see, for your Balto video, I just want to know what secrets were you putting in there that they kept like taking it down and not letting you upload?
So
what secrets?
Here's the truth of how it ultimately played out and how stupid I am and all of this. All right. So YouTube washes their hands a lot when it comes to copyright claims and blocks and strikes. They act as like kind of the in between to an extent, and then they're like, okay, it's between you and whoever owns the IP. And more often than not, for these larger companies, I just assume it's like a big faceless corporation with a bunch of bots calling the shots, and that, okay, I need to just keep trimming down the video myself and eventually it'll go under the radar, which in like the first 2 weeks of upload, we were able to edit it down. When I say upload, when the video was completed, to upload it and edit it down to where it didn't get hit with a block. And I'm like, okay, so the ball is in my court. I just gotta keep editing these things down until it's acceptable. And there was one moment where we finally got one, and 5 days went by, and then blocked. And it said it was a manual review. And I read that as, okay, so Universal, if it's a manual review, meant maybe it's an actual human who's like, no, screw this guy, still blocked. So it went on for another 2 weeks, and it kept getting blocked and blocked and blocked. Are you all familiar with a channel called YMS? Your movie sucks? Okay. So we talk sometimes, and he sent me a DM. He's like, hey, so like, why don't you just dispute it? And I'm like, yeah, I should probably dispute it, because you can do that and try to present your case, though it's not a silver bullet. Sometimes, more often than not, it's not going to work. And he's like, here, use this copy paste of like legal jargon and just try it out. This usually works for me. Within like 10 minutes, it was released, and I'm like, God, all the wasted time. And I felt stupid where I'm like, I probably could have done this a month ago and probably would have been just fine. So I'm just kind of like, oh, yeah, I'm stupid as hell.
I'm going to back you up, though. I thought manual review meant that.
Yeah, but YMS, he's like, just because it's a manual review doesn't mean it's a human. I mean, there's moments where YouTube's like, we reviewed your video, and after you submitting a claim, we reviewed it, and a person has said it's still unacceptable.
It's like the team YouTube Twitter is like, oh yeah, this is actually for kids, but nobody actually saw it.
Right, because it's like, well, wow, you watched a video, an hour-long video within 10 seconds, impressive, So it's like, it's still a bot. They say it's a human, it's still a bot. So, are there humans on the platform who might check it out occasionally? Sure. But at that moment, I think it was still bots just messing around, and we threw them back. So
when you said like it might not be a human, the first thing that popped into my mind was it's a mermaid, and I'm like, oh, how appropriate.
Daddy, I love him.
Well, thank you you've been asked so much about congratulated.
Yeah, people congratulate me like I fought like in like a war, and they're like, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I do it for my country. I do it for the dog.
Your Reddit was crazy.
I mean, it's cool. I'm glad. I want to keep uploading longer form videos like that. I mean, did you like it? Thank you. Thank you. I want to do video essays like that more often. So I'm excited. I want to do. We want to hop into Land Before Time here eventually, because that is like such a hot mess. And also has a pretty diehard fandom where I was kind of telegraphing about how I'm gonna do a video, and they're like, it's a good series. The 13th film is where they really get their stride. And I'm like, wow, okay. So, we'll see.
Has anyone seen the Land Before Rhyme? Do you know what that is?
Oh, God.
Want to say
That's a deep cut reference.
Yeah, this is something from, again, 2015.
Land Before Rhyme.
when we were at a concert that we were hosting in DC, and it was a Christmas concert with the Kriebers and the Brown family, Gabriel Brown and his
Black
family.
Griffin.
Black Griffin, and we just all of a sudden like broke into
Impromptu.
an impromptu rap about the Land Before Time. When I say we, I mean Gabe, and we danced.
Yeah, his brother's on the piano, and he like started doing this like doom. Doom, 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 and we're like, oh, let's just go
It's
with
the
it.
Land Before Time.
It's
the
on
Land
YouTube
Before
if you
Time.
want to look it up, but it's just us being stupid like right now. So
Yeah.
par for the course.
So what's your question?
Have you guys seen Rally Road Racers?
That sounds familiar.
And if you have, thoughts?
Is this a movie?
Yes.
No, I'm
Rally
thinking of
Road
a series.
Racers?
I'm thinking something else. I have not seen it.
Sounds like a video game. It's not.
What
What is it?
Yeah, but what is it?
It's a cartoon movie about this. I can't remember the type of creature it is. Civil Wars or something like that. And
How old is this?
Yeah, better say.
it was released in like the last couple months, I think.
Wait, is this?
I do not know about that.
Is J.K. Simmons in this?
I believe so.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, there's like little hedgehogs.
Yep.
They look like they're from Sing. It's got like that Illumination Sing looking
I haven't
visuals
seen
to it.
anything for those.
J.K. Simmons just punching the clock, getting paid. You know, he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. But no, that does sound familiar. I think I've seen the trailer for that.
For some reason, my local theater had like 10 people come to watch it
Isn't that interesting?
once a week, and I'm like, why?
No, but it's so weird how you got like you got movies that come out nowadays that look like they're pretty
Yeah,
dang
I had not
competent,
heard of this.
and then marketing wise, you're like, I never
Yeah,
heard
it's
of
like-
this. Why wasn't this posted or shared with?
It was a great movie. I
You liked it?
enjoyed it. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Definitely want to.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because the girl character, she like, I don't know how to describe her. She has a very much like a kind of, hey, I'm the chill one. Good racing, bub. And then the J.K. Simmons too. He as J.K. Simmons in the movie
That's J.K.
from Whiplash.
Oh, right. Not from Spider-Man.
Questions?
Well, good one. I didn't know about that one. All right, I saw your hand.
Sarah, you talked about yesterday about ADHD. I used to have it when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I've kind of gotten out of it.
Interesting.
Experience about it, like.
It's actually kind of funny because he's not the only one up here with it.
Yeah. So
Hey,
like,
no, I'm kidding.
I think it's really cool that like I guess comparing like generational changes where like for my parents' generation with boomers, it's like just smack a kid hard enough and they'll concentrate. And then for millennials, it's like, okay, maybe there is something a bit more deep going on here. And I remember when I was like 7, my family took me to like a doctor's office to like, I guess, analyze me. And I was like, had the best times. I'm like, I get to play with toys, This is the best doctor visit ever. There's no needles here. And then they're like, okay, well, let's put this kid on Ritalin. And I guess that it's weird because like you ever like are you kind of spawn into existence, not really questioning something that's part of your life. And for me, it's always been like, oh, I'm ADD. I guess that's just a thing I have. And then it wasn't until like a few years later, and even recently, where I'm starting to really understand it. Like I recently figured out that like choice paralysis is a big problem for folks with ADHD, and that for a lot of folks who have that too with ADHD, you live in the here and now, and it's hard to perceive the past and the future. And like, yeah, and I guess it kind of goes hand in hand with the choice paralysis, where it can freak you out. But I don't want it to like define me. It's just a part of me, and it's nice to just at least be introspective to know myself a bit more of why I can feel the way I feel and think the way that I think. And that's it. I just want to get comfortable. I'm not like embarrassed by it. I'm not like trying to fight it. I just want to know myself better, the chemicals in this gray matter, and right, just so I can have the best life I can. Because there's moments where I can be very emotionally fragile, and like it's like someone can make it's like you're talking to somebody and they cut you off because they just completely ignore you. And like, oh man, it hurts. And you start stewing in it and you're just like, why do I feel this? I just feel miserable, and I kind of want to be miserable, but I don't want to be miserable. I'm just hurt. And why does this hurt so much for something that's so benign? And it's like, oh, it's, that's an ADHD thing. You just feel a lot more emotionally vulnerable. And I heard some advice one time where like emotions are like water just like hitting the beach where, you let the water go right back into the ocean. And that's how I see it, where it's like, okay, it's just temporary. Go for a walk, breathe. Don't let yourself in an emotionally compromised state, say anything stupid or dumb. Let the emotions go back and let, hopefully logic prevail. So, yeah, it's, I hope that helps to answer the question. I take Concerta for it whenever, there's a day where, because, there's moments where it's like, I want to work. Why can't I work? Why can't I just finish this? I have a time limit from 8 to 5 usually, where I'm really on it with work, but after 5 o'clock, I can't retain anything. I can't work. I just can't. I'll work. I'll do other kind of tasks. But if it's like, okay, I gotta write a script here at 8 p.m. at night, and I'm like, I can't. It's not happening. My brain just isn't working. I need to go to sleep and try again tomorrow when I'm actually more awake and possibly medicated. And because the Concerta helps a lot with, okay, now it's making sense. Now it's clicking in my brain. That's a lot of information I share, by the way. I share it in case there are other folks who feel that. I feel like there doesn't have to be something we have to be shy about or embarrassed to just, I don't know, have a good, healthy conversation.
Do you know when you were diagnosed?
7, I believe, or 8.
So I, like I said, I was also diagnosed with it as a kid.
Back when it was just ADD for me. They call it ADHD now.
It was ADHD for me.
Yeah, okay.
So, and yeah, for me, I was on the medication as a kid, and I remember at one point, I think I was part of a trial run for some new medication. Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell you if it was good or bad. All I know is that I made money. My parents
what the heck, dude?
Yeah, well, I made money. I think my parents were like, we'll just put that in your college fund. And I was but I want to spend money.
What? Were you part of some focus test group for some experimental drug?
I think they said something about me being a genius.
Oh, awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, no, but I remember there were all these tests that we took. All right, you have to, when you see a certain letter pop up, you have to hit a button and all that stuff. But for me, it's looking back because there was a lot of moments for me that made more sense after. I used to take the medication around the time I was getting into college. I actually was I want to see if I can separate myself from it and just power through.
Yeah.
Because I think it boils down to I'm lazy enough that I'm I don't want to have to keep worrying about getting medication and whatnot. I was can I make it through this? And that's when I started realizing how much more of an appetite I started having, because one thing with the medication is it can knock out your appetite.
You want to know why, right? Methamphetamine's in it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It kills your appetite.
Yeah.
And Walter White.
I was, but again, it's once I started realizing this stuff, it made sense, because as a kid, and I didn't know why, I didn't think about why, but I never wanted to eat my lunch when I was at school. To the point where my mom was we're going to have the yard duties. Do you guys remember yard duties? Is that what they called them at your schools?
Yard duties?
That's what they called. They called the, if you will, the security people, at the ones that always had the fanny packs. Maybe this was just my school, but
I don't know if we had that on the East Coast.
They just let you run rampant. Basically, it was just the supervisors around the school, and they, but one of them was tasked to make sure that before I left the lunchroom that I would show that I ate my food, and I hated it. I was I don't want to eat my food. I want to go play outside. I don't care about eating right now. I love food. We've established this.
Me too.
And it's it made more sense later in life where I'm that's why I wasn't eating, was because of the medication I was on. But as a kid, I don't know, I never thought, I saw it as a problem or hey, why is this happening? My parents obviously knew about it, but I don't know if.
You weren't, old enough to be introspective.
Yeah, I was just whatever, let's go play.
Right.
But yeah, so again, there's different levels, obviously, of ADHD. I think I'm on the lighter end of it.
Yeah, it's not crippling for me, but it's definitely there.
Right.
Enough for me to okay, let's live with this. Let's make this work. So it's I don't fight against it. I think it's neat that nowadays it's a lot easier for us to talk about Asperger's, autism, ADHD, and all kinds of things where it's let's get to know this better. Let's have a discussion. And I guess there's a lot of things with for folks who have autism, where I'm like, oh, I get it. I understand a lot more because I've looked more into my ADHD, and it helps me to, I don't know, just you don't feel as lonely. You feel like, okay, a lot of folks are going through their own walks of life, and just having, I guess, more of an open mind to like discuss it helps to make it more, I guess, not palatable, but more accepting or more tolerable. I suppose.
It just makes it seem.
There's more discussion. There's a discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Thank you for your question.
Yeah.
We saw a hand here earlier, and then we'll get to your question. All right.
Let's see. We're bringing it back to the whole main thing earlier. Are we planning to cover the movie that just came out, the live action?
He loves live action Disney movies.
I love it. No, so I'm gonna do a video here. Because I was going to do a review for The Little Mermaid, but I haven't seen it yet. And I was just kind of thinking, like, I might have missed that window. But as far as, like, talking about just the remakes in general, I'm going to do a video about that. Because, like, I did some research recently. Because, like, with The Little Mermaid, it did really well. And I've heard, actually, it's, like, one of the better remakes. And I'm not here to throw shade at folks who enjoy it. At the end of the day, I'm like, it's up to the individual. Vote with their wallet. Enjoy what they want. My concern as of late has been like, okay, that Moana remake, it's surprising how quick that was announced. And part of me wonders if it's because of The Rock, where they're like, we got Maui right here, right now, let's go with it. It's right in front of us, let's go for it. And it's like, well, don't you want to do a sequel first? You think they'd work up to that point. Because like Disney's nostalgia mines are starting to run dry. So I was kind of wondering, like, okay, what are they going to do when they run out of,
The Black Cauldron.
Well, here's the thing. I've said this before. I think some of the best material for these remakes are their less popular films. Atlantis, Treasure Planet, Black Cauldron. But Disney's like, we're not doing that because this is nostalgia baiting, and no one's gonna. Why would we do a remake of a film that failed at the box office? We're not gonna do a live action Chicken Little. I don't think that failed actually. I think just people didn't really care for it.
Chicken Little.
Critically. So the video is just gonna be like, why I give up. I give up. You win, Disney. Do what you want. I guess the precedent is that my greatest concern is that if Disney animated films moving forward are all considered with the backdoor entrance of a remake, potential. And that would suck if it could, I guess, limit animated films from Disney moving forward too. Like, you can't do a live action Zootopia. It's not happening. You can't.
Well, they're doing a live action Robin Hood.
They just film a petting zoo, and they're like, there they go.
What about live action Wreck-It Ralph?
John C. Reilly like.
Well, I promise you that some Disney executives walked into Pixar and they're like, okay, remakes, and I like to think of Pixar is like still more artsy enough to be like, get out of here. And they're like, okay, well, sequels then. Toy Story 5, get to it. So I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business. And I put my business hat on. I'm like, what would the business folks be saying? Because these remakes make money. But here's the thing. They have no staying power. Like, so Disney Plus is finally starting to reveal, like, the metrics and viewership. What's the most popular stuff on their platform. And it's the live action remakes never make the list. Unless it just came out. Bluey kills it, by the way. That's not Disney. That's just an open licensing. But, like, a lot of it's, like, the original content. So on one hand, it's like, okay, like the Little Mermaid remake, okay, let's see their retelling. It's a bit temporary as far as the staying power of the film, but also the Little Mermaid, the original, hooray. And I think that's what they're more focused on, is like, let's just make some money, let's get, our profits up, it's good for stockholders, it's good for our quarterly reports, and also we get to, build the original IP, still our focus, even though these remakes aren't always as, I guess, respectful as they could be, I guess, to the original properties.
There's a problem with the remakes, and I saw it a lot in the Beauty and the Beast one.
What's that?
Is that, and I saw a Twitter post about it too, where it says like these remakes always go back to the original film and like try to fix things that don't need fixing.
That's the thing that gets me is I feel like there's such a corporate committee with all of these, and it feels like the art can't really breathe. And when they try to feign that this is an artistic reason of why we're doing what we're doing, I'm like, no, it's not. You're rationalizing it, but getting paid temporarily, that seems to be the main goal here. I guess, no, again, like, it's like a balancing, or, you know, it's like a catch-22 where I'm like, okay, I'm glad the original properties get a boost from this, but, like, I don't know. I guess my concern is that, like, moving forward, it's like, okay, new Disney film, remake 3 years later. New Disney film, remake 3 years later. Because they're running out of nostalgia. I mean, like, my buddy Jim said something. He goes, I can't wait for live-action Minions. And I'm like, oh. I took psychic damage when he said that. I was like, oh. Because, like, they're doing a...
live action How to Train Your Dragon with DreamWorks.
That, though, could work better. I think that could work. I don't know. It's weird. It's like... Sorry, I'm, like, rambling. There's, like, okay, it's not all bad. There are some benefits. But at its core, it is nostalgia baiting. It is going for low-hanging fruit. And it's money-driven. It's a business. Who would have thought Disney cared about money that much, right? But I don't know. I just want the art to be able to keep breathing and prevailing, and I don't know. I hope it will.
Who here's seen the new? I was going to call it My Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid. Who here has seen it already? Who here hasn't seen it but is planning on it?
I will.
Okay,
I'll see it eventually.
Okay, so there was like 2 hands.
Yeah.
A lot of hands went up and went down when I said, and plan on seeing it. Yeah, like, I think, because I saw it with Sarah this past week, I won't say any spoilers.
Does Ursula win?
Don't want you to get spoiled on it, but yeah, as far as what I observed while just like sitting there and watching it for the first time, was how, to me, there's just so much more that you get in like the 2D movies in some sequences. Maybe some song numbers and whatnot, where it's like in the 2D, I'll use Under the Sea as an example, right? It's like, you know, on the dinner plate, you have the fish like on the plate, there, and they're playing instruments.
It's the same problem that happened in Beauty and the Beast with the Be Our Guest segment, is like compared that to the original, it's like, the original like looks so much better, so much more vibrant and everything.
It doesn't feel like oh wow, they really, with the new technology, picked it up here. That's where it's like come on. Now I will say Under the Sea in this live action one definitely starts out that way. I don't know if for those that have seen it, it certainly starts out that way, but I know Sarah even mentioned, she was like, I kind of liked what they did as the song progresses. But I still was sitting there initially going, but there's no fish on the dinner plate. He's gone. So
naming all the fish and doing the interesting stuff.
But they're not there. They're not there. Yeah, they're literally singing about the fish playing the instruments, but it's just Sebastian singing about fish playing instruments, of which. So it's stuff like that. But I think one thing that a lot of people also enjoyed about this is that, and again, this isn't a spoiler per se, it's just how the direction goes. It adds context to Eric's story in this one that didn't previously exist. And I think people were like, okay, that at least gives us something different. Because Beauty and the Beast to me was almost so on the nose that it felt like I'm rewatching the cartoon version.
Do you know what the original Beauty and the Beast was before they just scrapped it and started all over? Mm-hmm. They were like 20 minutes into the film, and it was like not really musically driven initially.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's like the prince. Well, we must, like a bunch of like pompous like royalty palace like politics with like the prince, and like they showed it at a movie show or a premiere or whatever for a test screening, and they're like, yeah, couldn't be that bad, right? We're not gonna start over, are we? Starts over completely. Because they're like, this sucks, let's start over and do more of a fairy tale intro with, the music and kind of let's hit this broad strokes, which was like superior. That was because I saw enough of the original animatic, and it's like, nah, that's not it, Chief. Yeah. There's a lot of surprising things with like the Renaissance where like, for Disney Renaissance, where like the original Part of Your World, like Katzenberg wanted to cut that.
Really?
Yeah, straight up. He's like, I saw a kid yawn during the premiere. This scene's obviously boring. Let's cut it. And the guy who did the music, what's his name? Like Howard? Not Howard. Peter.
Are you the what?
He's the guy who did the music for Beauty and the Beast.
Was it Menken? Alan Menken?
I think it was Menken. Yeah. I love that guy. Rest in peace. He's a legend. But I just love how with Katzenberg, he's like, hey, we got to cut this, and Alan's like, oh, we'll cut you. I will kill you. He's like, you don't. I am the angriest gay guy here in New York, and I will end you. and I just love it where he's got those cold robotic eyes, and he's like, this is like, I know theater. This is the part where we literally set up the entire rest of the film as far as what is her deal, what does she want, and the journey, the stakes that are being established. Why would you cut that? And then Katzenberg's like, well, at least we put Sebastian in the scene. Yeah. And they're like, okay, fine.
Your question.
Yeah. School? Oh. The thing about it is when you care about something, you can really, go places. But when you don't care about a topic, it's like really a struggle to get through it. When I was in college, I failed exams left. I almost flunked out. I was on academic probation, and I actually had my parents come to the school, which felt really embarrassing because I was like 21 or whatever. But I also, relative, in hindsight, at 21, I'm still a little baby boy. But I suck at exam taking, and one of the academic advisors was like, "Why don't you just take tests and exams outside of class and like a teaching or a little test examination facility on campus, where you have extra hours and there's nobody in there except for a person helping to monitor the test. That's it." Because for me, taking a test and seeing folks stand up and turn in, I hate that. I hate it. Because it's it's no longer me with the information. It's me competing with other folks. And the more if I'm the last person in the room, it's crippling. I can't think. So for that, in that regard, taking my exams privately, oh my God, that was a game changer. So yeah, school's tough, but I got through it. And it was worthless. I never needed it. No, it helped. I was a poli-sci major, and I will still be the president someday. Someday, we'll see.
Oh, wow.
Don't throw your vote away.
It's like you said, though. There were certain topics where it's like...
And I can't do math. I suck at math.
It's funny, I'm the opposite.
As hard as I tried, I couldn't do math. It was just impossibly difficult for me. And I know that math's incredible, and there's so many things, because there are people who live and breathe math, and I think it's the language in the universe. Is that I've heard that before, and it's okay, it's amazing, but I don't get it. I don't speak that language, and I'm better with words, and I'm better with talking, and I'm better with other topics. But math was my Achilles heel. I flunked math so many times in college, and I just squeaked by with a passing grade. I hated it.
Yeah, I was interesting because math, most math, I was oh yeah, linear algebra. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but
they brought letters into math. What the hell?
When they were you have to say the proper sentence, I'm it's not math. Math is math.
Is math.
But then science for me for some reason was something where I was yeah, this isn't clicking. And obviously everyone's gonna go through their struggles with school and whatnot, but it's about kind of figuring out how you can maximize I guess your learning experience as you go through it.
That's it. It's you might not retain this information, but you still went through that experience. Mm-hmm. And you can understand yourself better as you come out being okay, that's the kind of learner that I am. That's the kind of student that I am. This is my work cycle. For me, with video essays that I do, I love it. I also hate it, but I love it. With gathering research and sources and putting it into an outline and then writing it. It's actually my teacher, high school teacher, English teacher, her name was Dr. Moll, and she was the only teacher in my school actually cared, and really tried to teach. And I retained so much of how to write a paper, how to do research from her, and we're still friends. Which is weird to say as an adult, I'm still friends with my English teacher. But I sent her a message being hey, I still use your teaching methods for my work, so thank you. So that caught me off guard. I'm glad I don't use math, except for counting the money I make. Yeah. $5, $10.
I didn't like history all throughout school until college.
You didn't like it, or you did like it?
I didn't like history.
I love history.
Yeah, but when I got to college, I had good professors that were excited about teaching the subject. It was oh, that's interesting.
The way you teach history is to strip away how grandiose it is and really drill down to the human pettiness of it all. Because it comes down to some of these most ridiculous exchanges that sound like it's two high schoolers in the locker room screaming at each other. That's World War I,
Just out of curiosity, where are you in school right now? Middle school? All right, you got
You're just starting your journey.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I just as a I guess an end note on this. I remember when it came time and going into college, where it's like, all right, time to figure out what you're going to do for the rest of your life.
Right?
Yeah, and I like when I go to a restaurant, it takes me 20 minutes to figure out what do I want to order. I mean, that could be good, and that could be good, and that could be good. And Sarah's sitting here going, "We come here every week, and you get the same thing every week." And I'm like, "I know, but that could be good," And then you get to college, and they're like, "All right, just tell us what you want to do for the rest of your life." And I'm like, "Well, that could be good. That could be good. That could be good." Like there was at one point where I'm like, what is it? Entomology? I was like, the study of bugs? I mean, why not? I hate science. I failed well, I didn't fail biology, but I struggled through all that stuff. But for some reason, I was like, bugs! How great! Yeah, it was just, you got something?
Yeah, it's like, continuing on that, it's like, with like school stuff, it's like, it's very interesting, like, how subjects that you may not care for, like, can definitely be very interesting if you have a great teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And then subjects that you absolutely would love are just horrible when you just have the wrong teacher.
You're right.
Yeah.
Also, there's a changing of seasons where you might be like, I didn't care for history when I was in high school, but like, I'm loving it here in college.
Yeah, like through high school, through middle school, high school, I really got into mythology.
Mm-hmm.
And like my senior year, I had a really good mythology teacher. And then when I went into college, the first year I didn't really do much. I pretty much failed my first semester and then just left, went to work, and then decided, hey, I'm going to give it a try, at least try a class. I got a mythology class, and I got a teacher who basically talked like, what was it? I think like Ben Stein. Just that monotone voice on the entire class. And it's like this is not entertaining. This is not going to be fun. I went there for a fair amount, and it's like I'm done.
That's such an interesting subject too. Like, why would you be like?
Clear eyes.
For what it's worth, also just be said, like college isn't for everyone. I had a friend named Nathan in high school, where over time I realized how like dire his family situation was, and he dropped out of high school to go launch a land care or a landscaping business with his brother, just so they can provide for the family. And I remember all the teachers and the other classmates were like, "Oh my God, Nathan, what are you doing? You're high school, but college." And he's like, "No, I'm good." He's like one of the most like successful local landscapers in like the area, like with a booming business. And I remember seeing him like years ago when I was still lifeguarding, and he was doing the yard care around the pool. And he was like, "Hey, Steven." I'm like, "Nathan." And I'm like, "How are you doing?" He goes, "Got my own business." I'm like, "That's awesome." Like, how cool is that? Like, it goes to show that there's so many different paths in life, and just because we're told, go to school, go to college, then it's done, which a lot of us have realized, it's like you're talking about, I want to order that.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, you order it, 4 years later, it's like, I'm still waiting for my food, and they're like, we're out.
Right. You get out and you're like, I have a diploma. Where's the job? And they're like, what job?
Or like there was a recent.
We don't have jobs.
Or something with our friend Hirasashi.
Yeah.
Because his father is like a successful guy, and he's like, your generation, you don't work hard enough. And then like Hiro's been currently trying to like go through like a home application process, and his dad jumped in to help. And his dad's like, "What the hell is wrong with this system? This sucks. Why is it so hard to do this now? I can't go anywhere." And Hero's like, yeah, it's pretty hard, boomer.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have about 10 minutes left here, and we're gonna have a hard end at 11:30 because I actually have to then run over to another panel.
What panel is that?
I don't remember.
It's a script reading.
Okay, fine. It's the script reading. It'll be the script reading panel. And then after that, though, just a reminder at 1 o'clock. Who's Line? Mm-hmm. We were gonna have our Who's Line panel, an hour and a half of improv, hopefully comedy. It'll certainly be improv no matter what. With the last 9 minutes here, though. Any more questions? Any more? All right. So I want to see who has a question. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. And 5. So we have 5 questions. We're going to aim to get through all of them, which means we'll speed up our answering process. Who did you have first?
Yeah.
You first.
I'm never getting the furry allocation.
Oh, I'm not. I'm accepting it now. I went to a furry convention like last December, and I'm like, okay, I get it. The vendor hall for furry cons, they go super hard. I was like, well, I bought more like merch at a furry convention than all of my collective time at the brand conventions in the last like 10 years.
Really?
Which like, because I mean, pony stuff to me, I'm like, I don't really buy stuff. I just don't. I'm not really a materialistic person like that. I'm better than all of you, you know? I'm better, so much better. No, but I just, ponies isn't really for me, but like all the furry stuff, I'm like, I want that, I want that. I'm like, I can't be seen in public, you know, I'm out here. No, I love the designs. There's a lot of cool designs at furry cons. Not yet. Oh, why did I say that?
You got the answer you wanted.
No, you get back in my mouth. Yeah, we'll see. I've had a lot of furries who are like, when it's time, Saber, hit me up and I'll help you with that fursuit commission. I'm like, okay.
All right, thank you. And then we'll just work this way. Who was our next question over here? Yes.
More lighthearted tone, maybe start a fight. Short sleeves or long sleeves, which are superior?
I mean, I'm wearing this right now. I like both, but like at least short sleeves, if you know, just roll it up. And I kind of like the little bundle when it rolls up like that. It's like, yeah, so cute. I like it.
I'm a short sleeve guy who likes the option of putting on a light coat.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Hoodies and me were like this, you know, for like high school and college.
You were a hoodie guy?
I loved hoodies.
Was it always on?
No, it's just like the comfy of a hoodie.
It's just there. It's like a little pillow.
Yeah.
Keeping you comfort.
Zip up or pull on?
Zip up.
Zip up, yeah.
Though I've been wearing more pull-ons as of late, but yeah.
I would always stretch out the pocket because I could put my hands through it and I would always be like...
Or you're like, okay, whoosh, wrap it around your waist. Whoosh.
Oh, yeah.
Go time, baby.
Yeah, we're bringing that back. All right. Okay, working this way. Yes.
So for Saber, where did you even find Joshua?
Oh, the Promised Lands?
Yeah.
I thought you meant... Where did you find Joshua?
That's my real name.
And the rest, Humane Society. For Joshua, so y'all familiar with Critical? Yeah, hey guys, it's Critical. Like that. He did a video for Joshua in the Promised Lands before I did, and someone must have watched his video and was like, "Hey Saber, you should check this out." And I watched it, not knowing that Charlie did a video about it beforehand. Then during my research, I'm like, "Oh, Charlie did a video about this," just kind of talking about it being, you know, the worst film ever. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty bad. I'll talk about it too, but I'll do more in depth. And that's how I found it. So I think Charlie found it, and someone probably recommended it to him, and then someone recommended it to me. I mean, most of the things I find nowadays, I mean, like, I still look around so we can kind of stumble across, but like, it's folks telling me. Like, I've got like, I kid you not, like thousands and thousands and thousands of suggestions that I've yet to have tapped into, because folks just email me daily about, you know, things to check out, which is cool. Makes my job easier.
And then we'll go you, and then we'll jump back to you. So yes, yeah.
Guys, Has-Been Hotel.
Has-Been Hotel, yes?
Yes.
First season is coming out this summer. What are your guys' opinions on it?
I haven't seen it. I'm familiar with it, but I haven't actually seen it.
Should be interesting to see the animation differences or changes from like the pilot to, you know, A24 helming the wheel. I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. So we'll see. I'm curious. Because like Hell of a Boss is really like, I'm like, okay, I've been enjoying that so much. Though I have some opinions, but like, it's just, I don't know. We'll see. Netflix? It's on Netflix. For Has-Been Hotel? Yeah. It's on Netflix.
I just hope they don't cancel this very soon.
I don't know. It's hard to say with streaming services.
Yeah. This year, they canceled Inception.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's not being produced by Netflix, it's just being released on it.
License, yeah. Distribution.
Yeah, it's the same thing with, I think that's how Hasbro works with ponies.
Mm-hmm.
Is how they're just distributing it.
Streaming services right now, a lot of them are like, we don't want to make original content anymore. We're just going to license because it's cheaper and there's less of a gamble for us, which, like, cool, great. I guess we're going to stifle creativity. Yeah, I mean, which, like, I guess the biggest issue is that they've been taking down a lot of their own original content as well. So it's like, it was Dexter's Lab got kicked out of HBO Max. And it's just like, well, okay, well, I guess I'll just, you know, go
Even
to
Disney's like removing stuff.
I don't know what's going on.
Like all their original stuff is like, you own it.
I don't know.
It's the purge.
All the streaming services are doing it, so, you know, put on your pirate hat, I suppose.
Yeah. And then final question.
Yeah, just a quick question. Are you guys going to be at the hour video thing?
When is it?
It's after the script reading.
Oh, we're doing
after the
Who's Line.
script reading is Whose Line?
Yeah, we
So
no.
no.
We got prior range. If it's recorded, we'll watch it on YouTube or something.
I was trying to. I made a video like a year ago,
Mm.
and it has like a compilation of a bunch of nostalgia stuff. I was really wanting to show it off because I've been waiting.
Oh no, that's why you were asking. I thought you were just like, you should come hang out in the audience.
Is it? Do you have it on YouTube?
Yeah.
Can you link it to us maybe on Twitter or?
Yeah, I can definitely.
Cool.
Do that.
It's about a minute long.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Do that. Sorry,
Sure.
sorry, we're
Prior arrangements.
So I was really wanting to show it off.
Yeah.
It's very. That's not big at all.
Well,
send it our way.
Are you going to the How to YouTube panel tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's just bring a laptop and show it on the screen. You know, like I'm gonna bring my laptop and HDMI to show some
Do
stuff.
you want to do that? That sound
If
good?
you're comfortable with that.
I like that. That makes me less comfortable. Excited.
You're like,
yes.
what kind of nostalgia?
That's-
It's all family friendly. There's
Okay.
one clip that's a little taboo, but it's,
If it's on YouTube, it should be fine.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
We done?
I guess, yeah. Well, folks, we'll probably wrap it up there. Again, thank you so much for coming to the Semi-Perfect Podcast panel.
Y'all
And,
are amazing.
Yeah, we certainly hope that at some point you could all join us for a podcast. Or typically we have them at Wednesday. I'm still learning to talk. Good thing there's
On
a script
Wednesday.
for the next panel. But on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 Eastern is typically when we're having those.
We're in 8 p.m. Central time right now.
I see there's too much there. I just because I said I kind of like math doesn't mean I could do that. And yeah, we will see you all around the convention. Hopefully we get to see some of you at Whose Line. And again, tomorrow we have a How to YouTube panel. So yeah, so we'll see you guys around the convention. Thank you for coming again, and we'll see you around.